It's said that people see the figures of women in old-fashioned clothing from the turn of the century.
Oh.
And that these women are seen floating down the corridors. Welcome to this episode of the You Two Scare Me podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Andy.
And I'm Felice, and we are coming to you from QS, Florida.
So here we are. School has started.
Yes.
We're back into the swing of things. But I'm excited because that means it's spooky season.
Yes, we are. We're even like well into summerween.
Yes.
And going into actual spooky season soon.
I have purchased several decorations already.
Did you get them from the dollar store?
No.
I did.
Well, I got those ones. Those what are they? Like the romantic skeleton heads. Remember I showed you?
No.
They're like Victorian looking. It's a man skeleton and a lady skeleton, and they're like,
oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
But so just so our listeners know, on the wall at my house there's a bunch of kids art framed. So I bought an appropriate number of spooky framed things to swap those out and put up.
Yeah, get rid of that. Oh, kid art. I don't want to see your cute handprint anymore. We want to see spooky stuff.
So, and it's so funny though, my kids love it because they're like, do you like this one? Should we get this one? They went with Ryan and they all picked out one.
Oh, that's cute.
So I'm working on that. But that also means that we are getting ready for another one of our live events.
Yes, it's coming up soon, next month. I think it's September 12th.
Yes. So we're going to do another one of our live events for people here in Key West, or if you want to come visit.
Yes.
Where we have some spirits, some drinks, some small plates. And we hear some local ghost stories. We do a short walking tour, and then we do a ghost investigation.
Yes, at a hotel, and we have exclusive rights to be there investigating. So that's really cool. I don't know if you said the title of it, but it's Spirits with Spirits.
We're so excited.
Yes, it's on our website right now.
Yes.
If you are interested in joining us for that. And it's always limited spots available. So if you think you want to come, go ahead and sign up now.
And in the past, we've had some skeptics who have come, and now they're ghostly believers. And people were like, wow, can I get my own ghost tools?
Yeah.
And it's really been a great experience.
Yeah, it's fun. We make it fun. It's not like super scary. It's just, it's fun. It's interesting.
So come join us or tell your friends about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I have to tell you something.
What?
I was really struggling with this week's episode.
Okay.
I had a plan. I was working on a story, but I didn't love it. I kept thinking about it. I kept researching. Writing, rewriting, doing all the things. And it just wasn't right for me.
Sometimes it's just, it doesn't hit right.
Or right for me right now. So last night I had this insane dream. No joke.
Okay.
In it, I was at the DMV and it was before the internet. And the lady told me that I had to go get a form from the library.
Okay.
So she gives me directions and she said, if you go out that door and down the stairs, you'll find it in the library. But they won't be happy. You'll only be one floor above the secret blue room. Do with that what you will.
Oh my gosh, what a spooky dream.
I know. So naturally in my dream, I went to the library, got what I needed, and immediately headed to the secret blue room.
Yes.
So there was a bunch of other weird stuff that happened. But when I woke up, I kept thinking about the mysterious blue room and the exquisite library in my dream. And so I looked up blue rooms. There might be an episode about that later.
Oh,
sometime.
okay.
But I thought, aha, libraries. So, spoiler alert, I worked furiously on this today, and this episode will be about haunted libraries.
Awesome.
Thanks, lady in the dream.
I love that. It's so funny because Andy and I, we work differently. I usually, as soon as I know my topic, I research it like way ahead of time and write it way, way ahead of time. And then by the time we get to the episode, it's like a surprise to both of us. Because I can't remember what I wrote. And Andy's like in the moment, you know, like she's like a little bit more on the fly.
It's how I live my life.
I know. It works out, you know.
Yeah, but I just wasn't feeling the other one.
Yes.
I could just go through.
Push through.
I like to be excited about them, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that comes across too when we share the episodes with our audience, you know, like, if we're excited about it, you feel it, right?
Yeah.
So anyways,
Okay.
that's the spoiler. That's how we arrived here. And yeah, so
Welcome.
if you're just joining us for the first time, we are two silly, spooky friends who love the paranormal and stories of ghosts, hauntings, UFOs, cryptids, conspiracy theories, or anything weird.
That's right. You know, I love a conspiracy theory.
I know. I put that in there for you.
Thank you. We know we don't know anything or really understand what's happening with any of this spooky stuff.
But we have a deep respect for the unknown and unseen forces at work around us. Each of our episodes is a surprise for each other and sometimes ourselves.
Who knew?
In Felice's case. So the reactions are real.
During our episodes, we make sure to laugh to keep it light and make sure that it doesn't get too spooky around here.
We hope to bring you stories that make you look over your shoulder, check that the doors are locked, question everything, and give you a chill.
Quick warning before we begin. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Our tales are drawn from folklore, history, and reported experiences, but we don't claim them as fact. Some stories may include sensitive topics, so listener discretion is advised.
Dive into the shadows with us as we bring you haunting tales in this episode of the You Two Scare Me podcast. Shall we dive in? When people think about haunted places, they usually think about the obvious ones. Old hospitals, abandoned asylums, cemeteries, or decommissioned prisons.
Eek.
Libraries don't usually make the list, but turns out that libraries are some of the most consistently reported types of haunted locations in the country.
Oh.
Libraries are often housed in some of the oldest standing buildings in a city. They're built to be quiet, and in quiet buildings, you notice sounds you might otherwise miss.
Oh, that's a good point.
Many libraries were funded and built by a single wealthy benefactor, a lot of times with a complicated history. And more than a few of those benefactors, according to legends, apparently didn't leave once the ribbon was cut.
Okay.
Some libraries occupy buildings that weren't originally libraries at all. And library staff, those sweet little angels, spend a lot of time alone, after hours, in large old buildings full of dim corners and creaking floors. So it turns out that when you start looking, you find library ghost stories in almost every state.
Oh, wow.
So tonight I picked 5 of them. The ones that had longer histories or a lot of consistent witness accounts or even actual recorded footage. We'll start with one that's probably the most famous library haunting in the country. Let's start in Evansville, Indiana, at a library that has been called by many paranormal researchers the most haunted library in the United States.
Oh.
Willard Library was founded by a man named Willard Carpenter, a wealthy Evansville businessman. Construction began in the 1870s and the library opened its doors in 1885, making it the oldest public library still operating in the state of Indiana. The building itself is a fantastic example of Victorian Gothic architecture. It has red brick, steep gables, and looks exactly like the kind of thing you would expect to be haunted.
Okay.
It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1972. By most accounts, Willard Carpenter's relationship with his own family was strained. Historical accounts of the library's history note that Carpenter and his children, Louise, Marcia, and Albert, were not close. It's even recorded that Carpenter left his daughter Louise and her husband very little in his will, with most of his estate instead going to his business and the library itself. So this is important because Louise Carpenter is the person most commonly thought to be haunting the library.
She's like, I'm taking this library one way or another.
But her being the ghost is unconfirmed. It's just a belief.
Okay.
According to the library's own account of its history, the haunting story starts on a winter night in 1937. A janitor was working the overnight shift, making his way through the basement toward the furnace room to stoke the coals, when he encountered a woman standing in the corridor ahead of him. He described her as semi-transparent, dressed in gray from head to toe. She had a long Victorian dress with a high collar, her hair was up in a bun, and she was wearing a veil. As he watched, she faded into the shadows and was gone.
Whoa.
He reported the encounter and the story spread. That figure came to be known as the Gray Lady. And depending on which version of the story you read, sightings of her have continued on and off for close to 90 years.
Wow.
Right? So just to be clear, the library itself says no one actually knows who she is, that it's Carpenter's daughter, Louise.
Yeah.
Some people believe it's an old librarian.
Okay.
But people have grown up saying it's Louise for decades. People like to think that, you know, a woman who was cheated out of her inheritance might have a reason to linger in the building was built with money that should have been hers.
Sure. That's a juicy story.
Right. You know, so that's all unproven, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
What is proven and documented is the volume of individual accounts that have piled up over the decades from library staff, patrons, and outside investigators. The library itself keeps a lot of documented encounters. A former children's librarian identified in library materials as Ms. Margaret reportedly formed what she described as a working relationship with the ghostly presence over years of working in the building.
No way. That's cool.
This is really cool. During a 1980s renovation of the children's area, staff reported the Gray Lady seemed to follow Miss Margaret home during the duration of construction, staying with her until the renovated space reopened.
Oh,
this
my
is like
gosh.
what you always say,
Like
ghosts don't like renovations.
Yeah, roommate. She's like, I'm just going to hang out on your couch while they're fixing the house, you know? That's so funny.
So I guess the library was renovated. She goes back. There are multiple accounts of books falling from shelves under circumstances staff couldn't explain, including one frequently repeated story in which a former library director instructed staff to stop discussing the ghost with patrons. Shortly after, according to this story, a patron asked the librarian about the Gray Lady anyway. The librarian reportedly answered, "If she was here, she's not here anymore." And a book titled Betsy's Wedding immediately fell from the shelf.
Oh.
She's like, here I am.
I'm still here.
In the 1970s, the library was visited by Lorraine Warren, a well-known psychic, medium, and paranormal investigator. According to the library's account, Warren reported falling into a trance near the children's story area and described seeing a vision of a woman staring into water.
Oh.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
So here's where Willard Library stands apart from most reportedly haunted locations. It really leans into the public documentation instead of away from it.
That's cool.
Since the 2000s, the library has operated a set of live, publicly viewable ghost cams.
Cool.
Security cameras that are in 6 of the building's most frequently reported paranormal hotspots, including the children's room, the basement hallway, the research room, the main stairway, the children's story room, and the adult services floor. Anyone can watch the feeds online at willardghost.com.
Oh, that's cool.
I watched them today.
You did? We'll link it on our website under episodes.
Yeah, for sure. They're fun.
Did you see anything?
No, not when I was watching. The library has also, on more than one occasion, publicly shared specific footage it says it can't explain. In November 2002, security footage reportedly captured what looked like a moving shape near the study desks. More recently, on April 17th, 2025, the library posted security camera footage to its social media accounts, showing a locked door swinging open with no one visible nearby.
Ooh.
According to
my gosh.
Yeah, it was cool. According to the library's account, staff confirmed the door had been locked and no one was on camera near it at the time. The door's opening triggered the building's alarm system, prompting a call to the library director. When he went to check it, it was still securely locked. Do you want to see it?
Yes, yeah. Okay. Let's watch that again. Whoa.
It just so the door just opens a little and closes.
That's crazy.
But it was enough. And it's light out, so you can see clearly the outside of the building, the lobby, or wherever this entrance is. And you see the door open and close.
It's pretty, I mean, it's definitely opening and closing.
Yeah.
And it's daytime.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
So they posted that. I love that the library's like, hey, watch this. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's pretty cool.
There was another incident August 20th, 2018, when some weird stuff happened all at once. A group was meeting in the Bayard room when their computers all suddenly started having technical difficulties. At the exact same moment, the elevator got stuck. Later, staff closed the building as usual. Out in the parking lot, they noticed the lights in the special collections area were still on, despite a librarian being certain he had turned them off. So, 2 employees bravely ventured back inside, turned the lights off, and reset the alarm at 8:08 p.m. before leaving. At 8:11 p.m., after everyone had exited, the stairwell ghost cam captured the gray lady descending the stairs from special collections.
Whoa.
So that's where the light was on.
Yeah.
The Willard Library has been featured on Discovery Channel's Real Ghost Hunters and Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters show. It now runs annual public Gray Lady ghost tours each October. I wonder if anyone's ever seen her on one of the tours.
I don't know. That's so fun, though.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And if you go onto their website, you can see some of the captured footage and stills. There's a couple that they've debunked and they have them marked debunked, but there's one that's unexplainable, and it is clearly a figure you can see holding onto the railing on the stairs.
Gosh. That's crazy.
It's wild. Our next stop has a very different character.
Okay.
It's not really a ghost story in the traditional sense. It's a true crime story with a spooky reputation kind of layered on top of it.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Central Library opened in 1926, designed by architect Bertram Goodhue. By the 1980s, the building was badly overcrowded. It had decades of growing collections crammed into a structure that had never been expanded to match. On the morning of April 29th, 1986, a fire alarm went off. So apparently the building had frequent false alarms and staff they weren't initially concerned or very reactive.
Okay.
The fire turned out to be real, and it grew fast. Firefighters arrived within minutes, but the blaze took over 350 firefighters and about 7.5 hours to bring it under control.
Oh, man.
It said the fire was burning at temperatures as high as 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It tore through the fiction stacks, the magazine collection, the map room, and the science department.
So sad.
Among other. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. More than 400,000 books were destroyed and hundreds of thousands others were damaged.
Wow.
In the following days, thousands of Los Angeles residents showed up as volunteers that became known as the Hard Hat Brigade. They began hauling salvageable books out of the building by hand to be dried, treated, and restored.
Oh, that's
I love
good.
that.
I do too, yeah.
It remains one of the largest library disasters in American history, and it directly inspired Susan Orlean's 2018 nonfiction book, The Library Book. Turns out, the fire was arson.
Oh, man.
According
What
to
a jerk.
I know. Who does that? According to later reporting, a second smaller arson fire was started in the building later that same year. No one was ever arrested, and the case remains officially unsolved to this day.
Wow.
Fun fact. Well, fun dark fact. Serial killer Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, reportedly visited the library's history and genealogy section in August 1985, less than a year before the fire, where he asked a librarian for books on astrology and torture.
Ooh, that gives me chills.
So this has nothing to do with the fire, nothing to do with any haunting claims. It's just a documented piece of unsettling history.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The Los Angeles Public Library has published its own blog post directly addressing the haunting rumors, written by a staff member who went looking for evidence after hearing all of these rumored ghost stories repeated during their building tour. Their conclusion, in their own words, was that there's no actual proof of paranormal activity at Central Library, just a whole lot of personal stories passed among staff over the years.
Okay.
So here's some of them.
Would we call them those first-hand accounts?
Exactly. Some reported claims include misty figures glimpsed in stairwells that connect the building's older, less trafficked corridors. So the land that the library sits on used to be the California Branch State Normal School. Remember we learned about normal schools?
Like one of our first episodes, I feel, yeah.
So in case you don't know, a normal school was a teaching college for women
Yeah.
back in the day. So that's important because it's said that people see the figures of women in old-fashioned clothing from the turn of the century.
Oh.
And that these women are seen floating down the corridors.
Wow, that's really cool.
People have also reported hearing whispers, knocks, and bangs, and seeing shadows that move. One more fun fact. The original 1984 film Ghostbusters filmed its opening library scene with the elderly ghost librarian in one of Central Library's storage areas.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I think that the Central Library is an interesting inclusion in this episode because it has arson, a tie to a serial killer, and a connection to a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, it is fun-filled for sure.
So, I mean, not to mention all of the reported activity.
Yeah. Not to mention all the ghosts. So,
Right. I mean, there's that. So the next library we'll visit is in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
The George Peabody Library sits inside the Peabody Institute in Baltimore's Mount Vernon neighborhood, and it's now part of Johns Hopkins University's Sheridan Libraries. It was funded by philanthropist George Peabody, a Baltimore merchant and a War of 1812 veteran, and opened in 1878. It's a 5-story cast iron atrium that rises 61 feet to a skylight, and it's often called Baltimore's Cathedral of Books.
Wow.
I love that.
I do too. It's cast iron. Wow. How do they build a whole building out of cast iron?
Well, I mean,
That's
cast iron
crazy.
and glass.
Like
and
pieces.
yeah, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you.
Yeah. It houses roughly 300,000 books, mostly from the 19th century, and remains open to the public today in keeping with Peabody's original intent that it serve ordinary Baltimore residents, not just scholars.
Okay. Thanks, Peabody.
Yeah. The recurring story attached to the Peabody Library describes a man in Victorian era academic dress seen on the library's upper tiers. He's usually described as reading and not responding when approached or spoken to. There are some that say he will even shush you if you're too noisy.
Very library-esque.
Right.
Yes.
Some accounts describe him as a kind of benevolent and helpful presence. It's said he places books out that researchers need, and pages supposedly fall open to relevant passages.
Ooh.
So I'm wondering if this is the ghost of George Peabody or just a scholarly fellow who continues his love of reading and learning in the afterlife.
And he's just very responsible.
Right? You know, he's like, oh, he's been there for so long. He's like,
Easy.
I know exactly what book you're looking for.
Yes.
Here you go.
He's like, actually, this one goes on that shelf.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's like, you're looking for a book about ghosts? Try this one.
I like it.
Okay, so this next one is a little different from the others because instead of a single famous apparition, it's a case where a group of students went looking for evidence and documented what they found.
Oh.
The Horn Library serves South Piedmont Community College in North Carolina. According to the college's own library research guide, the haunting was first reported in 1997 when the library was still located inside the campus student center. When a new freestanding library building opened in 2002, staff and students reported the activity seemed to move with it into the new building. So the presence in this library is generally described as benevolent, not threatening. The most commonly reported paranormal activity involves sounds. The sounds of books being moved along the shelves or being knocked from the stacks onto the floor, usually in the early evening hours when the building is quieter. According to the college's account, one former employee recalled repeatedly hearing the library door open and close with no one entering. So there's another open and closed door. A few times it's been reported that a female apparition was seen. In December 2016, a group of students from a UNC Charlotte ghost hunting club spent an evening in the Horn Library specifically to test the ghostly claims.
Oh, how fun.
They were using audio and video recording equipment. According to the college's library guide, they captured some evidence. There are recordings that include audio where an investigator was asking a question, followed by knocks in response. There's audio of a computer turning on with no one present and a video showing a book falling from a shelf.
Wow.
The college shares this evidence as, quote, "Is there a ghost in Horn? You decide for yourself."
You decide.
So I love that. They're
Yeah,
like, hey, this happened, but, you know, you decide.
That's cool.
I love, though. Here's another example, though, of a library that's kind of like, we're putting it out here, but
Yeah.
you know, we don't know what's going on.
Sure.
That's our vibe.
That's our vibe.
Yeah.
We're not like saying, yes, this is definitely this, or no, it's definitely that, but we're always open to
Yeah.
ideas and
Yeah. And we're like,
yeah.
we don't know what's happening, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. One last stop. It's a quick one.
Okay.
Bangor Public Library's current building dates to 1913, following the loss of an earlier structure and a major fire that swept through downtown Bangor in 1911.
And that's in Maine.
It is.
Is that Stephen King's hometown?
Oh, you ruined it. You ruined it. I had in here, if you're wondering why Bangor, Maine sounds familiar.
I can take it back if you want. You want to still do your surprise? I'll act surprised.
Bangor Public Library's building dates to 1913, following the loss of an earlier structure in a major fire that swept through downtown Bangor in 1911. One unusual artifact tied to that fire still sits in the current library's rotunda, a couch saved from the flames. According to local historical accounts, Hannibal Hamlin, Abraham Lincoln's first vice president, reportedly died in 1891 at a private social club in the city on that couch.
Ooh.
The couch was preserved and eventually placed on display in the library. And according to local reports, a plaque next to it states no one else is permitted to sit on it. Bangor, Maine's the hometown of
Stephen King.
There you go. His house sits nearby behind one of those giant wrought iron gates. And the town of Bangor was the inspiration for dairy.
Yeah, a lot of his books are set in Maine too. Just
yeah.
with his surroundings. That's cool.
Yeah. So let's get
So
back to the
spooky
library.
place.
Yeah,
Okay.
spooky place, spooky couch, back to the library.
Okay.
So remember that couch? Staff and visitors have reported strange occurrences near it. They claim the couch area feels unnaturally chilly even during warm weather.
Ooh.
It's frequently reported that a quiet, pale, elderly man dressed in 19th century attire is seen standing or sitting near the couch, watching people pass through the rotunda. Some say he just smiles at them.
Ooh.
So that's 5 haunted libraries. We visited a Victorian building in Indiana with almost 90 years of witness accounts and its own ghost cam network.
So cool.
A Los Angeles landmark with real documented arson case, serial killer connection, and some strange accounts. A Baltimore reading room with a scholarly ghost. A community college library in North Carolina where students actually left recordings you can listen to yourself. And a small Maine library with a death couch and a quiet ghost man. Some of the libraries have named witnesses going back generations. Some have footage that the institution itself has published, and some are a little uncertain or just have some personal accounts. It seems like libraries, quiet, old, full of fabulous books, and the accumulated attention of anyone who's ever sat in them, seems to be one of the more common places people report the sense that they're not alone. As a lady from my dreams said, do with that what you will.
I can't believe that you got inspiration for today's show from a dream. That's really
know.
cool.
Isn't
That's
that weird?
Yes. Also, I think libraries make sense. It's kind of like theaters too. Even if somebody didn't actively die in that place, people spend a lot of time there.
That's
and
true.
also they explore their passions. They research things that are really important to them. You know, they study things for their vocation.
Yeah. I think that there's also emotion, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're researching for a purpose, right? Maybe you're stressed about it or you're driven by, like 2 kind of heightened emotions that you're experiencing.
Yes.
Or maybe you're just reading like we like to read for pleasure, for fun, and it's an escape, but you're experiencing the emotions of the characters in the book.
Or even, I think some people escape the reality of their lives into books too.
Right.
That they're having a hard time, and then they use books and they use that space to go somewhere new, somewhere different,
I know for many people, particularly some kids from the past that I have had as students, like disadvantaged youth, the library is a safe place.
Yes.
And it is for everyone. Have you ever walked into a library and not like taken a big breath and felt welcomed?
Yes. I love the library.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow, that was a good one.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. lady from Andy's
Yeah,
dream for that inspiration.
I know. Weird.
So weird. Are you ready for Somebody Told Me?
I'm ready.
Okay. It's a good one.
Awesome.
So last week or the week before, I can't remember. Anyway, I was out at somebody's farewell and I was talking to a lady that I know. Her kids actually go to our school and she works with Bill or whatever. Anyway, so we were talking about the podcast and I was like, oh, do you have any spooky stories? And she was like, well, actually my house growing up was haunted.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. So, this is Stephanie's story. She grew up in Syracuse, New York, and her house, it was built during the Civil War, and there were 2 ghosts there. This is what she said.
Oh.
So there were 2 ghosts there. One was a Civil War soldier that never came home, and Stephanie said that when she and her sister were kids, they had a Ouija board, and that the Civil War soldier came through on the Ouija board. So she didn't give me any like real specific details on that one, but you know how I feel about Ouija boards. It's always too spooky for me, you know?
Yeah.
So that was enough information. But anyway, so we know for sure that there was a Civil War soldier, came through, spoke to them on the Ouija board. The other ghost was a lady, and her husband had run away with the nanny, and then the wife killed herself.
Oh, no.
In Stephanie's sister's room.
Oh, gosh.
And so she would walk the hallways, and she would always be checking on her children. She had 2 children. And so Stephanie would sometimes feel something touching her covers in bed.
I have full body chills.
I know. She would sometimes like feel them like touching her foot under the covers or whatever, you know. Another crazy thing is, so when they redid the baby brother's room, the children, that lady's children's initials were on the wall. So they found them on the wall.
Oh, gosh.
So sometimes things would go missing in the house, and then they would find the things by this wall where this lady's, where the children's initials were. So Stephanie's mom invited the now adult children over for tea.
Oh, my gosh.
And they talked about the mom. So they're adults. They come over to the house. They had tea. They talked about their mom. And then the ghost left. Isn't that crazy?
I look, I have like
I
literal
know.
goosebumps.
Isn't that crazy? And Stephanie was just like, there were like a million people around. And she was just telling me this in such a nonchalant kind of way.
Oh, my God.
Can you believe that?
Oh, I mean, a mama's love, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And how awesome was it that the kids got to come back to the house?
This makes me teary. I would just like, can you imagine you're just yearning for your children?
Yeah.
Right? You know, and obviously in my mind, the missing things placed by the wall, it's almost like, look, I got this for you, or I think you would love this, or you would have loved this, or, you know, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And then assuming this is an intelligent haunting, right?
Yeah.
Which it seems like. Seeing your children grown.
Yes.
And they're there and they're talking about you. And oh my gosh, I can't.
I know. It was enough closure for her to be done in the house too, right?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Isn't that a cool story?
Oh, wow, Stephanie.
Yes. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing that with us.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks so much for that incredible story. Thanks to all of you for listening to this episode of the You Two Scare Me podcast.
If you want to support the show, find us on Patreon. Just search for You Two Scare Me podcast. We have $5 and $10 tiers with special perks and shout outs. You can also follow along with us on Instagram at You Two Scare Me _podcast, or on Facebook at You Two Scare Me podcast, or on TikTok at You Two Scare Me podcast. No spaces.
Send us your own ghostly library stories, cryptid or UFO sightings, encounters with shadow people, time slips, and anything unexplained or strange to us at youtwoscaremepodcast@gmail.com. That's YOUTWO scaremepodcast@gmail.com. We might share them in a future Somebody Told Me segment.
That's right. Don't forget to check out our website for You Two Scare Me merch, including our super awesome shirts like Andy's wearing. She has our wordy shirt on. We also have mugs, stickers, and more. And we have episode notes and some photos of us. We'll make sure to include the links for that library so you can look at that footage.
Yes. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a 5-star review anywhere you listen, and share this episode with your favorite librarian.
Thanks for wandering through the shadows with us.
Until next time, stay curious. and beware what lurks beyond the light.